G'day everyone, I'm just going to go through the 2008 NAPLAN Year 7 Numeracy test, the with calculator section. I'd already done this previously, but now I'll actually be using a calculator that we can see here on the side. So, the first question doesn't need a calculator. You just need to read the column graph. The second, you just need to read a number. The third, it's just all visual. The fourth one, you can use a calculator here. You need an average of all these times. So you just add them all up. 45 plus 50 plus there's 60 minutes in 1 hour plus 62 plus 43. Add them all together and then divide by 5 to get the average, which is 52. The next one. Now, a calculator can be used for this. If you knew that a quarter is 0.25, you could just do it in a decimal form. So 1.25 plus 3.75 will give you 5, and then to find the midpoint between the two, you just need to get the average of the two, which is divided by how many they are, which is 2.5, which is this one right here. Another way you could have done this if you didn't realize what a quarter is, you can realize that you've got 1/4 there and you've got 3/4 on the side there. So, adding 1/4 plus 3/4 will give you 4/4, which is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5. There's a number of ways this one could have been worked out. Onwards we go. So number 6, obviously we didn't need a calculator. Number 7, likewise. Number 8, you could use a calculator for this if you wanted. 30 seconds at 6 meters a second will be 30 times 6 equals 180. You shouldn't really need a calculator for this one. You could, if you wanted to, you want to try to get 8. If you first rolled 4, 8 take 4 equals 4, which means you need to try and get 4 in the second one. Likewise, 8 take 7 equals 1, or 8 take 3 equals 5, things like this. It's such simple maths though that a calculator, it'd probably be slower with a calculator really than just figuring it out in your head how much you need in the right clock to equal 8 once you have the number from the left-hand clock. A calculator wouldn't be necessary here. You could just look at the drawings and count dots and things like this. For 11 you would. A calculator could come in handy. So if the car uses 8 litres for every 100 kilometres, how many would you use for 250? You just need to see what is the multiple difference between 250 and 100. It's obviously 2.5, and then you've got to multiply that by the 8. So just the basic sense of it is 250 is 2.5 times bigger than what 100 is. Therefore, you need to find the number that is 2.5 bigger than what 8 is. And hence 8 times 2.5 is 20. So we won't need it for that question. For this question, it could come in handy. So again, it's the same sort of thing. 20 has changed to 240, so what does it mean 15 will change to? 240 divided by 20 equals 12. Therefore, that is what we need to multiply by the 15. So just to elaborate slightly, 240 is 20 times bigger than 20. Oh, sorry, it's 12 times bigger than 20. So we needed to find the number that was 12 times bigger than 15 centimeters, which is, of course, 180 centimeters. That option right there. 1/5 of the length of Ruby's skipping rope is 30 centimeters, so how long is her rope? Well, if 30 is 1/5, then you need to times that by 5 to get a whole 150 centimeters. If a school has 150 students, how many, the fraction of students who have a book on loan from the library is closest to, you just need to do 80 divided by 150. And that is what it is as a decimal, and hopefully you're able to figure out which of these it is closest to. If you weren't able to figure it out, you could actually go manually and calculate them yourself. So by manually, I mean you're still putting it in the calculator. So we can remember that this one is 0.53, so 53 we can call that. A 15th is 6. An 1/8 is 12.5. A quarter is 25, and hence a half will be a lot closer. It's 50, which is very close to the 53 which we obtained. And you can also just double check a little bit of common sense. 1/2 of 150, 150 divided by 2, 75, that's pretty close to 80. This one, the calculator could come in handy. You've got 4 squares here and it adds up to 16 meters squared. So you could end up figuring out how much each square is. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. Then you could literally even count all the squares if you wanted to. So there's just a number of different ways that you could do this. The way I initially saw, and I mentioned in the video, was this seems to be a 3x3 square of little 2x2 squares into it. So, and as a result, you can tell that of these 9 squares, there's 8 of them, but there's only 1 here. So it's really just 8 times the size of 16. The other way that I just mentioned, if you're saying that these 4 squares in the middle are 16, and that means each one is 4, you could just count the amount of squares in each. So there's 6 squares there, another 6 is 12, another 4 is 16, another 4 is 20, another 6 is 26, another 6 is 32. So again, if you do 32 times 4, it gives you the same answer, 128 meters squared. Next question, Kim paid $1.50 for cherries at this price. So you just need to figure out what is $1.50 out of $6. It's a quarter, so you just need to times that quarter by a kilogram to get your answer in kilograms, or if you wanted it in grams, and just multiply it by the amount of grams in a kilogram, 250. You could use a calculator, I guess, for this one's somewhat. Just for example, if you were able to tell that there's a difference between 16 and 27 is 11, but you wanted a quicker way of figuring out what is 11 less than an hour, and you weren't able to figure it out yourself, you could just type it in. So the answer needs to be in the 49-minute category, and it's 11 hours and 49 minutes. If it was 12 hours and 49 minutes, it'd be a 12-hour difference plus add 49 minutes difference, which would make it go up to 3:16 p.m. instead of 2. For this next one, because we know that an isosceles triangle will have 2 angles that are the same, a triangle is supposed to have 180 in total, you just need to do 180 take away the right angle, which it mentions that it has, which is 90. And then when you have 90, you just need to divide that by 2 to figure out what the identical angles must be, and they have to be 45, which means it has to be this triangle. This one, again, you could just type it out as a fraction. There's 4 options for a 5-cent stamp there, and you need to see what are your chances in total. So there's 4 chances that it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 10 total chances, which is 5 by 2. So 4 divided by 10 is that, which is 40%. And that fraction can be simplified because both numbers above my cursor can be divided by 2. So 4 over 2 is the same as 2 over 5, which is what this is. Stack of cardboard sheets is 11.4 centimeters thick. Each cardboard sheet is 0.03 centimeters thick. It's just literally doing 11.4 divided by 0.03. As long as you've got the decimal places as per the question, it gives you your answer. This one, again, you could have a calculator just to help you add things up. You know that there's the base, I guess we'll call it, the flat side of those 3 triangles, make the base of this large equilateral triangle. And they're 5 centimeters, so you can do 3 times 5 is 15. So that means that this big long side and that big long side is 15. This bottom one is 2 triangles across, which is 2 times 5 is 10. And we've also got another 5 here and 5 there, so that's another 10. Plus the 15 of each side of the large triangle. 50 is our answer for that one. This one is just counting, so as long as you know your 2 times tables, you'll be able to know, if one of them has 12 edges and 6 sides as an example. Should be easy enough. This next one, if it's $180 was the bill, and this month it's $135, you can just do 135 divided by 180. That get you 75%, and hence 1 take 0.75 gives you your 25% decrease. So that's easy enough one. Map of mountains in a national park. No, you won't. The calculator won't help so much there. This one it would a little bit, just to make the calculations a little bit quicker. A straight angle is 180 degrees. So over here, you just do 180, take 110. And that means this interior angle is 70 degrees. Do the same on this other corner. 180, take 130 equals 50. So this one was 70, this one was 50. That's 120. You get the total angles of a triangle, which is 180. Take that 120 and it gives you your remaining 60, which is the answer here. 27. 15 litres of water when she has a shower, 100 litres when she has a bath. How many litres? 15 litres of water every minute. How many litres does she save by having a 3.5 minute shower instead of a bath? Well, there's 3.5 minutes. And this is how many litres of water every minute. So she has 52.5. You just do your 100, take 52.5. And 47.5 is your answer. How much water she ends up saving. There are 420 girls at a concert. The ratio of girls to boys at the concert is 3 to 7. How many girls are at the concert? Number of ways you could do this. You could do, I believe, 3 divided by 7. And that means it's 42% of the number. Oh, that's not quite what we're going to look for. I think clearly the easiest way is just adding those two numbers up and then just figuring out how much that is out of the total. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So of every 10 parts, 3 of them will be girls. So 420 divided by 10. So each part is 42. So 3 of those 42 person parts are girls, while the other 7 are boys. So the answer there is 126. If you divide that by 3 and then times by 7, you get the number of boys. And those two numbers added up should equal the number of people that there are in total at the concert. Leave a comment if you want further explanation on what I did there. The next one, Sally has 60 DVDs. What's the percentage of each? How many comedy DVDs does she have? Comedy is 20%. So 20% is just 0.2. 0.2 times 60 would be 12. That's the answer for that one. Another way, if you knew the fraction of 20% is a fifth, you just need to divide by 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. 30. So I made this one look a lot harder than it really needed to because I had solved for the triangular faces, but it already gives you how much that is. So there's 3 meters and 3 meters on the other side squared of paint required. So that is 6 meters right there. We just need to figure out the triangular face and then multiply that by the 3 of them that they are. Length times width, 5 times 2.5. 5 times 2.5, that's what one of them is. Times it by 3 because there's 3 of them. And then add 3 for one triangular face, add 3 for the other triangular face. 43.5 meters squared of paint is required. Next question is just a reading question. And the next one is just about the counting. So this is halfway across this panel, point hook. We're trying to get from point hook to safety head. Halfway across, 1 whole square down, 2 whole square downs, 3 whole square downs, 4 whole square downs, 5 whole square downs, 6.5 squares. And 6.5 squares is 1,300 meters. So 1,300 divided by 6.5, which means each square is 200 meters, it's telling me. So that means for this one over here, Windy Point to Cape Scotland, which is the question there. 1 across, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll call that 9.5. And because it's 9.5 squares times 200 meters each square, 1900 is the answer. There we go. That's the end of the test. Hell of a lot easier with a calculator. I hope that was helpful, and yeah, feel free to leave any comments or queries below. Thank you.